Robbie, at half-time.
Yeah, they did, and it's amazing. I think Garnacho, I don't think he's a 10. Listen, he played as a 10, but he drifted out wide. I think Garnacho's best when he can run at the opposition. I don't think he's at his best when he's got his back to goal. So I like to see him on the left, but he's not a wing back. You know, and Kobbie Mainoo as a 10, I think that's his best position personally. You know, Owen might disagree, but I think, you know, in those tight areas as a 10, that's where I think he's at his best. So again, I think he's solving the problems 3 in a row, as Lucy said in commentary, and it's positivity for Manchester United. It was a good second half.
Yeah, it was. Mainoo involved in both of the goals, Owen. What did you like about his performance tonight?
Yeah, and think because Eriksen and Bruno were playing a bit deeper, it allowed Kobbie to release and get further forward. And I said at half-time, just play the ball in there, just put it in. You know, Kobbie does a brilliant job of putting it into an area, and Dalot gets a tap in. You know, obviously you need players to be in the back post. Dalot does brilliantly. Kobbie releases it. How about this for Garnacho? Well, he was brilliant when he come on, and Kobbie he learned from the first one and just passed it into the goal.
But again, look at where Garnacho is. He's on the left-hand side running towards the goal, and he's got pace. I think pace is a leveller. Ahmad's pace, Garnacho's pace. I think when they're running at teams, they're a threat, and I think Kobbie is that 10. You know, I don't think he's a 6 in this Manchester United team, and the argument is he a 10? Is he creative enough to be a 10? Is he defensively minded enough to be a 6? I think he has to play in a 3. Obviously, Manchester United don't play that. You know, he's probably an 8. But he
almost played in a 3 today, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, because Garnacho kept going out to that left-hand side. I think Kobbie Mainoo, for me, is a 10 in that team. But listen, he can play as a 6, of course he can. I think in tighter areas, he's really good. And you seen the run in the first half when he had the volley. He had the chance over the bar, he's created a goal, he scored a goal, so it's I thought Kobbie Mainoo was brilliant tonight.
Just looking at the table that's on screen, guys, confirmation there, Manchester United finishing in 3rd place, Tottenham just below them, they won tonight. So did Rangers as well, and that means that they're actually finishing in the automatic qualification spots as well. So all the British sides involved in the final night of the Europa League phase this evening, all winning and all going through in one of those automatic spots. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Really, I mean, amazing for Rangers. To be fair, that's going to be a tough place to, you know, for a knockout game. And I think for United, they did the job. You know, they need to look. They can win this competition. Tottenham could do the same as well. So could completely change their season, get them into the Champions League.
That's what we were saying earlier, wasn't it, Robbie? This has to be a priority for United now.
Yeah, it is, and they've got those 2-3 weeks now where Ruben Amorim can work on the training ground. Listen, it's a real positive result for Manchester United and for Spurs. You know, Spurs with the youngsters scoring tonight as well. So seeing Big Ange smile tonight was nice as well. So again, it's a good night for British clubs.
Guys, thanks for now. Matt Smith and the Goal Show are coming up for you next. They're going to wrap up.
This is to be at least optimistic and smiling about Manchester United.
I don't know if you had too many problems with the Man United performance. It was just the level of opposition tonight. You would have expected more from a team who came in 8th place and were hoping to get an automatic spot in the last 16.
Yeah, they were really poor, Sly, but I mean, credit to Man United because they made them look poor. They kept the ball away from them. The manager spoke before the game about quieting the crowd and controlling the game, and they certainly done that. And I thought the first half they moved the ball. It was probably a little bit too slow, but they changed at half time.
Diallo came on,
Garnacho, and they added that little bit of speed, and all of a sudden he had runners for Mainoo to find, and they all looked a little bit sharper. And I think, like Kenny says, you get those players and they start to look like good players. Love playing with good players, and you can see them linking up. And then on the other hand of it, you look at Highland and he looks like he's lost. He doesn't know where to run, what to do, what type of player to be. But a really, really positive performance from United. But like I say, do it on Saturday or Sunday whenever they play next in the Premier League, and do it consistently at that level rather than the level we'll be seeing tonight.
Yeah, of course they have to improve, but it's just this system that managers looking to integrate. There's been real question marks. How does he get some of the outstanding young talent into that squad? That's what the Manchester United supporters want. They don't want to see Garnacho, the likes of Mainoo, heading out the exit door in kind of 4 to 5 months' time.
And I've kind of, sorry to cut across, I've kind of felt, I think everyone has, that he doesn't seem to fancy Mainoo in the position we've seen him play so far in his career. As a midfielder, he's taken him off a couple of times when they've been in trouble.
Rightly so.
So he needs to find another position, and maybe that is for the forward.
Yeah, I don't think he has the maturity or the qualities to play that. United, in this system, you can't carry somebody, one of your two central midfield players, you can't carry one player in there who doesn't want to defend, who's not good at defending. That's a given. So he can't do it at the moment. He might develop into that type of player. He might add that to his game in time, Mainu, but at the moment he's not there. But what he has, he's got outstanding technical ability. He can play in the half turn, really good vision, and when he gets into the last third of the pitch, he makes things happen. You know, he can score. This lad can finish already. He hasn't been prolific in a Manchester United jersey, but he's scored some really important goals, and we saw a flavour of that this evening. And I saw a shift in mentality in him tonight. Up until this point, he's looked down on himself, his chin, feeling sorry for himself. That's how he's been carrying himself. With a little switch on tonight in that second half, he was enjoying himself. He was linking things up. We saw that bit of cohesion. Rich touched upon it there in terms of some of the forward play, some nice 1-2 touch, intricate play. That's good. That's better than what we've seen of late.
You said Mainu made things happen. He made the first goal happen for Dalot, Richard.
Yeah, he kept moving into positions, trying to find space all the time. A clever little turn in behind, but then the quality on the ball across the box is brilliant. It's one of those, as a defender, it's impossible to defend. Dalot makes the movement off the full-back and he's loads of space, but it's about finding them, and we've seen it a few times. Players in this situation not quite making the right decision in terms of that pass, but Mainu got a spot on there and a really good ball across, and they just hit the crossbar before that and it looked like they were starting to get on top. And the way United are going, you want to see them get confidence. You want to see a good Man United team and see what they're actually like at their best. And as soon as they hit the crossbar, they felt they started to believe. Mainu showed that little bit of quality, and then they just, like Kenny says, his performance went up a notch. Just his belief in himself, and he knew he was better than everyone else.
It's rare here either of you talk about a pass as being impossible to defend, because most are possible to defend, but you can see even in the replays there, he didn't drill it across. He's side-footed, but with enough power to evade the defenders, and yet enough sympathy, as they say, for an easy finish.
It's that horrible ball which I've unfortunately put in my own net a number of times, where it's just across. And
I thought we weren't allowed to mention the OGs.
Yeah. But it's impossible almost. You can't do anything because you try and put a foot on it.
They didn't even get close enough to defenders to get a foot on it.
No, it's in between the corridor of uncertainty, in between the centre back and the goalkeeper.
He sees it quick, his head's up, you know, and then the technical ability, got to take it on the half volley and just kind of cushion it across the 6-yard box. That's the level that he's got in terms of
Garnacho done it, I think, a little bit later, but it was just smashed across. It was in the same area, but didn't have the quality or the sort of consideration for the guy receiving it on the other end.
Mainu finished the job himself then a little later.
Yeah, I think it was all
exactly what you said there. You said the opponents we played, with all due respect, weren't the same sort of opponents when we played in the Premier League. They gave us time to think, and we need to do it again at the weekend.
Yeah, I think on the other side of that, I think when you're playing against a lesser opposition, you can almost take too many touches and you can play slow. So credit to them that they did speed the game up in the second half and they played at a higher tempo. But Man United's problem was when they're facing teams who are of the same level of them, it's a little bit more difficult. Sometimes they're found wanting, certainly in that midfield position. But today it was a good exercise for them.
He mentioned that they get some time to train. Now he said that's the biggest thing, more than anything. He's talked about this all the time. They get to rest, not play a match, and he can implement some of his systems in training. You don't buy into that too much.
To a point, I kind of I get that. I'd been more heartened in terms of just begun to see, looking at that performance in possession of the ball, in terms of those patterns, players being comfortable in certain areas of the pitch.
Mainu,
I was more encouraged.
Yeah, because he mentioned Mainu, you mentioned Mainu. He said himself that he has more freedom in this position. Doesn't have to run back as much. You would think. I would have thought a player should be willing to run back anyway, but there you go. He played well.
So he's higher up the pitch and he's very comfortable in these areas when he's an attacking midfield player. And sometimes when you throw those players high up the pitch, back to goal a little bit, they're lost. This lad isn't. He really isn't. He's very comfortable in these situations. He sees things there, little pockets here, plays a 1-2 touch when he has to. If he has time, he can turn and dribble forward. Again here, keeping it simple, just linking things up. That little bit of cohesion, combination play that we haven't seen too often for United. Again, in the inside right position here, pressure comes, no problem. He's got good upper body strength, good technical ability as well. Look at him here, just stood still. I thought first half he drifted too wide and too deep, almost into a left wing back position. Second half he kept himself in that inside pocket, number 10. And I thought United were better because of it, and he just needs to get himself into these positions more often in and around the penalty box, because his decision making is great. The quality of his final pass, Garnacho even here as well, give him credit. This is where Garnacho has to improve for me. Final ball, he has to get up to Mainu's level. But again, just saw a little bit of a future there. Garnacho, Mainu, Ahmad over the other side of the pitch. That little trio there, that bit of link up play certainly was encouraging.
I think it's important for him to play games. When he's been playing central midfield for the early part of the season, he's not been able to last more than 60 minutes. So it's quite telling that the manager's saying to him, like, you don't have to track back, but make sure you produce the quality, shows the technique that you've got in that upper part of the pitch.
You have to be very good though at the attacking side of it. If your manager's going to say, okay, have the freedom, don't bother running back too much.
No, he's never going to say that.
No,
he's never going to say that to him.
But he pretty much said in the interview, he said, look, he's got more freedom there, he doesn't have to run back as much.
Yeah, he's got less.
Strange.
It's less. He still has to press higher up at the pitch at the people. If you're given those responsibilities that you don't have to track back all the way, you don't have to come all the way back into your own box and defend, you've got to be really good in those attacking areas, and it's a lot more simple to be really good against Steaua Bucharest, who give you a lot of time and space.